even streaming.
Ezekiel 25:17. The path of the righteous man is beset on all sides by the iniquities of the selfish, the tyranny of evil men. Blessed is he who in the name of charity and goodwill shepherds the weak through the valley of darkness, for he is truly his brother's keeper and the finder of lost children. And I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger those who attempt to poison and destroy my brothers. And you will know my name is the Lord when I lay my vengeance upon thee.
Never. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's zeplore here, and today we'll be taking a look at the Caster Cleric build. Now, this is a build that revolves around you killing your enemies without even touching them with a melee weapon. Let's get into it. For our perks, we'll be taking Advanced Healer, Protection from Evil, Faithfulness, and Perseverance. For our abilities, we'll be taking Judgment and Spell Memory. For our spells, we'll be taking Lesser Heal, Protection, Earthquake, Locust Swarm, and Holy Strike. Typically in most fights, you're going to open up with a Holy Strike into a Judgment into another Holy Strike, relying on the on-hit slow from Faithfulness to allow you to easier land your Holy Strikes on your enemy after Judgment. Or alternatively, you're going to use Locust Swarm into Judgment into Holy Strike. Most classes, if you hit them with a Holy Strike into a Judgment into a Holy Strike, will be extremely low HP. But you still have 2 more Holy Strikes and Locust Swarms and Earthquakes to play around with in order to bring them down to 0. This build really only revolves around building 4 stats. Move speed being the most important. I'm usually around 325 move speed in any particular of any of my kits. Will and knowledge, because will is going to give you a lot of magical power bonus, which will scale into the kind of quality of spellbook you're using. And then also your knowledge will increase your spellcasting speed, which the faster you get off Judgment before an enemy melee gets to you and you apply your slow and be able to get away, the better. And also on top of that, being able to spam Judgment into Holy Strike is really nice when you have a higher knowledge, because that Judgment slow combined with the Faithfulness slow, if you can get that Holy Strike off again before the slow wears off, that pretty much guarantees the hit against them. And then last but not least, I usually build at least 5 true magical damage if I can on my kits, usually on the rings, cloak, neck, and helmet. Sometimes I'll opt for a choker instead of a normal owl pendant, so I can get a little bit more true magic, because you can just get a choker with knowledge and true magic and move speed, or you can get an owl pendant with move speed and true magic, so it really doesn't matter. As long as you have at least 5 true magic, you're pretty much chilling. One thing that makes this build so good now, whereas before it was mediocre, is the bringing back of Clarity Pots and them being widely available for cheap. You can buy them off the market pretty cheap, or you can craft them yourself with some very easy to find flowers. Clarity Pots allow you to get spells back extremely fast. You can just drink a potion, drink a Clarity Potion, sit down, and gain back a number of charges of spells very quickly without having to take the time to put a campfire down. Putting a campfire down as a cleric is very painful because you only have 7, well, I think you have 13 or 12 base resourcefulness before your stats, before you build anything. And this, you just have really slow hands. You open doors slow and you put campfires down slow. So Clarity Pots are a good way to overcome this shortcoming. A white Clarity Pot will give you back 2 Holy Strikes, 1 Locust, and 1 Earthquake in 10 seconds. The green Clarity Pot, you'll get back 3 Holy Strikes, 1 Locust, and 1 Earthquake. And the blue Clarity Pot will give you all of them back. You'll get 4 Holy Strikes back, 2 Locusts, and 2 Earthquakes back. So you can go from, if you exhaust all of your offensive options and your spells, 1 blue Clarity, sit down for 12 seconds, you're back in the fight. This is so good because if you are fleeing spells at the enemy and you only hit like half of them, you bring your enemy low, but you can't really push them because your Judgment's on cooldown and you're out of spells. You can just drink Clarity and sit down and get your spells back while they Healing Pot and bandage up. Whereas before, you kind of had to just leave and escape or find someone turbo safe to put a campfire down, because they're going to know that you're out of spells and they're going to know you're going to try and campfire, and they're going to know it's going to take you a while to campfire to get your spells back. But if you just drink a potion and sit, sometimes I'll do it right on the opposite side of the door, so they think I'm just like healing potting, and maybe they won't be keen to the sound of me sitting down. But most of the times, if I just drink a Clarity Pot and sit, I'll actually get my spells back before they're able to get their health back. If they're using just like gray healing pots and bandages, most of the time I get my spells back, and they're only like 70 to 80% full still if I almost brought them to death. And they won't be ready for the push, and they won't be ready for, if they counted me using 3 or 4 Holy Strikes, and I'm back at them again and I'm casting like a lot more, that really catches them off guard, because experienced players know you only have 4 Holy Strikes when you're versing a cleric. But with these Clarity Pots and how fast you get them back, you can really catch people off guard by having more spells than they think you have. Another utility item that's absolutely goated for this build are invisibility potions. Now, we're not really using these in the classic fashion to landmine somebody. We're 100% using them in front of the enemy, sometimes even when we have mobs around. Now, what this will do is, as soon as you invisibility potion, if you're invis for like at least 2 seconds and break invis, all of the mobs that were chasing you will automatically deflect onto your opponent. And they'll be permanently aggroed onto your opponent until you attack those mobs. Now, I don't know why it works this way, but you can definitely use this to your advantage, because if you have a bunch of mobs chasing you and you have a player chasing you, if you drink an invis pot after going through a doorway, the mobs will just flip through the doorway and attack your opponent, and your opponent just cannot chase you. You can use them defensively like that, or you can use them offensively by gathering up a bunch of mobs, getting near an opponent, and invis potting to drop the mob aggro onto them, and then you can cast Earthquake on them, so they have to choose between either A, standing still and getting hit by the mobs, or B, walking away to break away from the mobs that are chasing them, but take damage from Earthquake. So it's a win-win for you. Let's talk about build matchups here. Now, this caster cleric build is very, very, very good into warlocks, and it's good into fighters and bards. Warlock's anti-magic does not do anything against any of the cleric spells because all the cleric spells are considered divine magic. If a warlock tries to Bach Phantomize cheese on top of you, so they'll activate Bach, activate Phantomize, and try to get on top of you, you can just Locust Swarm yourself. Although they can cancel the Phantomize, they'll still take a lot of damage from this, and you still should be able to get away. It's pretty easy to pick up on. Especially, or if they have their weapon out while they're in Phantom, there's no way they're going to be faster than you. Like, I'm at 327, so I should be able to walk away. Because if they're in Phantom with hands out and they have to pull their weapon out to be able to hit you with their Bach, then it's free because that's plenty of time for you to get away. None of the Warlock weapons really pull out particularly fast, so you shouldn't have to worry about that at all. Any Torture Mastery, like movement speed, kite style Warlocks, usually die. If you Judgment them, Holy Strike them, and Judgment them again, they're basically dead. And if they're not dead, you can usually almost always finish them off with Locust Swarm with no worries whatsoever. Against fighters, you really don't have to worry about breakthrough. Even if a fighter is has sprint and sprints at the move speed cap, since you're already almost near the move speed cap, as long as you wait like 3 to 4 seconds after you hit sprint, because fighters get 45 move speed for the first 2 seconds of sprint, and then only 30 move speed for the next 2 seconds of sprint, and then only 15 move speed for the last 2 seconds of sprint for a total of 6 seconds. If you wait to where it's only like plus 15 during that last 2 seconds, you can most of the times turn around, Judgment them, and then start to pick them off, because by the time the Faithfulness Slow from Judgment is done on the fighter, their sprint's going to be up. The sprint's going to be on cooldown anyway, and you should be able to cook them pretty freely if they don't have sprint, as long as they don't have breakthrough. Second Wind can be used against you to get a lot of HP back, and that's fine if you have Clarity Pots, because you can just reset very quickly before they can get a Campfire down to get their Second Wind back. Also, Locust Swarm cuts through the healing of Second Wind. It reduces it by half as long as they're in it, so that's actually very good to note. Bards are pretty free too, because most bards don't have magic resistance, and if they're building turbo move speed, they usually don't have tank, like a lot of tank stats. And if they do have somehow they have tank stats and they have move speed, they usually don't have magic resistance. I rarely see a bard above 15, if not 20% magic resistance max, but most of them have like 10, if that even. Most of them also run a survival bow with a bunch of true fizz stacked. Now, survival is really good because you can use perseverance. You're going to do 2 less damage from each arrow they hit, but also you can bubble, like protection yourself and heal in between each survival bow shot after landing them. And if they don't land them, you can just trade with Holy Strikes or Judgment. So, and usually bards play in a way where they want to close like the melee distance. If they want to get close to you, like they'll do like a few shots, but as they're doing shots, they usually W keying you so that they can pull out their melee and finish you off. Also, most bards want to shriek you, the flute song that reduces your stats, that reduces your PDR and your power, I believe, your magic power and your physical power bonus. Maybe it's not your magical power bonus, but it reduces your PDR, which makes you easier to kill from their physical damage. It's like that do 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 do. It's probably one of the most used bard songs, and they'll almost always want to get that off before engaging in you, whether it's ranged or melee. But the problem is the same distance that is to get that song off on you is the exact same distance of Judgment. So if they go for that, you're 100% going to be able to Judgment them, and then open up with Holy Strikes and Locust Swarms to finish them off. Wizards and Sorcerers are kind of a skill-based matchup. You can definitely burst them down, but your health pool isn't the greatest. But you do have a lot of magic resistance and perseverance, so it can be kind of decent. I usually am pretty cautious if a wizard has Fire Mastery and is fireballing, because I have to wait until the Fire Mastery wears off to heal, because Fire Mastery cuts the healing that you do by a significant portion, so that can be kind of sketchy if I'm caught somewhere where I don't want to get caught. Sorcerers are a little bit easier than wizards, maybe, because yeah, sorcerers and wizards are pretty much skill-based matchups. As long as you don't get hit in the head with like an elemental bolt or a fireball, you should be fine. Holy Strike into Judge into Holy Strike will bring them all to like 1 HP, if not kill them, and then you can usually just finish them off with Locust Swarm, same as you would with a Warlock, really. And they don't really have any way to escape from you at all, so it's pretty free. The hardest matchup for Caster Cleric by far is probably Druid and Barbarian. Starting with Barbarian, which probably isn't as hard as Druid. Barbarian has Iron Will, which gives a large amount of magic resistance, but Barbarian also has Achilles Strike and Rage, which Rage gives you a large movement speed buff, and then Achilles Strike slows you down immensely. Now, the good thing about Achilles Strike is that it's a debuff, so if you're running, since you're running Protection from Evil, the Achilles Strike slow won't last nearly as long. Same with the Francisca axes. When they land on you, the slow won't apply nearly as long, and you almost always are able to get away from the Barbarian, unless they build a ton of move speed and they build Rage, and they're raging. But most of the times when a Barbarian rages, I just walk away from them and just try to wait out their rage before I start going in on them. There's no point in engaging a Barbarian who's in rage, because when they're raged, yes, their PDR is lowered, but their magic resistance isn't lowered at all. So you're still doing the same damage to them if they're in rage versus not in rage with your magic spells. Druids are fucking terrible to fight in this build, I'll be honest, because even if a Druid is like 50 strength and is not building any agility for Panther, if a Druid goes Panther, they'll do the dash in Panther to get close to you, and then the next 3 seconds, if they bite you, they'll apply a silence to you. And the silence can actually interrupt your judgment. So if you go to judgment them and you get bitten, you're basically dead, because you can't walk away because the Panther is so fast, and then you can't cast anything because of the silence. So it really takes a lot of maneuvering and outskilling to kill a Druid. But if you can pull it off and get the Druid low somehow with like a lucky Holy Strike and Judgment before the Panther is able to get to you, the Druid will sometimes panic and try to go rat form. And it's best to have Locust Swarm at the ready, especially if you notice they're going for a door to rat form through it. Because if you place the Locust at the door, even if they are able to jump through it, the radius of the Locust goes beyond that of the door. So if you're able to Locust at the same time as they go through the door, even if the rat makes it through the other side of the door and is able to go, like, he's still going to take damage and die from that Locust immediately, because the rat doesn't have enough HP to take that much damage from the Locust. So that can be really good against the Druid. For the most part, Druid Panther is pretty AIDS to versus. Who would have thought? Rogues are pretty scary too, but since you're going to be on the same kind of move speed as a rogue is, as long as you don't get landmined, you're pretty good. The hard part again is getting landmined, but one trick you can do is, since you have 2 locusts, if you think there's a rogue that's waiting like in a doorway, like 100% landmining there and is invis, you can cast a Locust Swarm in the area, and if you see that your Faithfulness on the bottom of the screen goes on cooldown, that little red cooldown, that means that you're hitting a player or a PvE mob, and that your Faithfulness slow is on cooldown. I will often use that to determine if I'm hitting somebody or not. If I'm blindly casting a Holy Strike or Locust, that's how I determine if someone is there, even if I can't see them. It's also how I determine if I'm actually hitting my Holy Strikes or not. Sometimes it can be hard to tell if you're hitting them or not, because you don't want to all in on an enemy that you haven't hit your Holy Strikes on. Very rarely you switch to your melee to all in them if you for sure know that you've hit your target a few times with a few spells, knowing that they're low and you're full, even though your physical power bonus is dog shit in this build. But if you don't see the little red Faithless thing at the bottom of the screen light up and, you know, start to go on the wheel on the cooldown and going around the wheel, that means you've missed your spells, or you just didn't hit anybody with your spells. So factor that in when you're engaging an opponent. Clerics are a little rough too, because clerics have they have perseverance, and basically what this does is it makes them basically immune to Locust Swarm. The Locust Swarm just doesn't do shit for damage when you're rocking a perseverance. So that basically means you have 4 Holy Strikes and a Judgment to kill a cleric, which could be really rough, especially since most clerics nowadays are DP Smite and running full movement speed to catch their enemies with Faithfulness. They almost always run perseverance, but I mean, I was able to do it in the beginning of this video against a turbo yacked Smite DP cleric who had a lot of move speed. So it is possible, but it definitely takes a lot more work to kill a cleric. So if you see another cleric who has a lot of movement speed and is wearing plate, odds are he's Smite DP, and be prepared to put in a lot of work if you want to try and kill him. Most of the times I won't even bother, but if someone's like, if I know someone's got some pretty good gear that's worth a lot of money, I can sell in the marketplace, sometimes I'll just go for it anyways, even if it's not the best matchup, because this kit's only like 2,500 to 3,000 gold tops. Even in this current state of the economy, it's just not that expensive. And oftentimes you can kill people that have kits that are worth 10k, 15k, because they don't really expect this build, and they don't expect how fast you are and how much damage you're going to do with your quick bursts of spells. Acid it, but he didn't drain off of it. Break it! Break the door! Take a push. So when he dark bolts and wastes all of his stacks. Let's go back and hold the door. Got an earthquake. Alright, now that we've discussed some of the matchups and how to play the build, let's get right into gearing and costs. Starting with the head, and we'll work our way down. Starting out, we'll get a Chaperone. I always go with a Chaperone over a Coif, because although the Chaperone and the Coif are both only -2 move speed, the Chaperone has a built-in magic resistance 20 value. If I go to the Coif unfortunately does not have any built-in magic resistance, which makes the Chaperone a superior choice in my opinion. I'll usually just search up a Chaperone with move speed bonus that is rare, and I'll get true magic on it. Now, there's not many available here, and the ones that are a bit more expensive than I'd like to pay. So what I'll do is I'll search up move speed bonus on a Chaperone. This one's 300 for a 9% move speed. I will buy this as a bit more on the expensive side, but that is okay. Most of the time you get this cheaper. I could have bought one that's 6 for 20% of the cost of what I just bought, but that's okay. That is alright. I just want to showcase you what you have available here to purchase. So I'm going to socket this now with True Magic in place of the luck, so it will be a 3 additional move speed, 1 True Magic Chaperone, which is definitely really nice for me on this build. Next, we'll do the chest. We'll always do Mystic Vestments because they're only -3 move speed, and again, they have PDR and MDR built in. We're going to get this with move speed bonus. This is a must-have. And I'll search up magical damage bonus just to see what's out there. Here for 250. That one's not bad. I will take it. Next up, pants. Pants will always be leather chauces all the time because we do need a large amount of knowledge that we get from the leather chauces, and we'll go with move speed bonus again. We want to check out the rare ones and just see what's out there really price-wise. So here's a pair that's 70% move speed bonus for 323 gold. Let's just see if there's any with move speed bonus and magical damage bonus before we choose those. There is none. So we'll go back and we will buy these for 323, and we can socket out the interaction speed for will, which will give us a little bit of magical power bonus. The reason why I do 1 to 2 will on the diamond instead of doing 1 to 1.5% magical damage bonus is because if I roll 2 will, it's automatically better than this. And if I roll 1 will, it's not necessarily worse than this. It is damage-wise, but the will gives you a little bit of buff duration, a little bit of magic resistance, a little bit of debuff duration. So it's not the worst thing. It's up to you if you want to go with will or the magical damage bonus, but I'm going to go with will here. Even if it rolls 1, it's not a big deal. And we got lucky and got 2, so it's automatically a W. So we'll put those on. Next up, we'll get Lightfoot boots. We'll always get Lightfoot boots. Most of the time, I'll get rare ones that with knowledge on them. So right here, we have 155. It's up to knowledge base. I'll definitely buy those. And what I will do is I will socket, because blue gems are pretty cheap, so I love socketing stuff like this. I'll socket out the magical damage bonus. I could put will on here, or I could put magical damage bonus, or I could put agility to be a little bit faster. Totally up to you what you want. Since I already got the 2 will on the pants, I'm feeling agility on this, so I'll just put 1 agility in there. And there we go. Next up, we have a cloak. We will always buy a radiant cloak that is usually blue with move speed bonus and typically gem the true magic in. Here's probably this one. It's 7% move speed bonus, or 0.7% move speed bonus for 233. I will do that. And you could just rock this, honestly, with the additional magic. It's not a huge deal if you leave the additional magic on, or if you socket true magic in its place. It's not the biggest deal. And next up, let's take a look at our stats here. We have 33 will, 28 knowledge, 318 move speed. Let's get the rings out of the way. So for rings, you can either do Rings of Wisdom or Rings of Resolve. And here's the thing, you're going to get Rings of Wisdom with either 2 will, or you're going to get Rings of Resolve with 2 knowledge, so the vice versa of that. See, what I'll do is I'll buy Rings of Wisdom, like this is cheap as fuck. 66 gold, 69 gold, 2 will on it, right? So I'll yoink these for 66 gold each. And what I'll do is I'll go to the goldsmith, pay 50 gold and a sapphire to socket true magic on top of the other stat. So it's a 2 will, 2 knowledge, 1 true magic ring that I paid very cheaply for, which is very nice. Slap those on for the raw stats and the true magic, it's very nice. So 37 will, 32 knowledge, 318 move speed. Next up, we'll get an owl pendant with move speed bonus and true magic ideally, and let's see what's out there. 1.5% move speed bonus and true magic. I don't really care about the luck, but it's 3 knowledge and 5 move speed and 1 true magic. For 123 gold, you can't beat that. I'll definitely be purchasing that. All right, last but not least, we need our hands. And so at this point, I'm kind of lower on knowledge. I like getting to 40 knowledge, even in this budget kit, as close as I can to 40 knowledge at least. So because with the gloves, I say these for last because you can either go rawhide gloves for the knowledge and then look for like agi, move speed bonus, and will to go on those, or you could go with arcane gloves, which are an agi will base, and look for knowledge on those. But since my knowledge is a little bit lower, I'm going to gun for the rawhides and see if I can get those with move speed bonus on them. So use a pair of rawhides for 220 that have 0.7% move speed bonus, magic resistance, and magical damage bonus. I will take those for 220. Put those on, so I'm sitting at 38 knowledge, 37 will, 325 move speed, and I have 25.8% magical power bonus. Next up, I will buy a spell book that's either move speed, magical power bonus, or move speed, magical damage bonus, but I'll always make sure it's at least purple. So let's take a look and see what we have here. Here's a book that has 1.3% move speed bonus and 3 magical power for $3.99. I will pick that up as a good purchase to me. 3 magical power is okay instead of magical power bonus because that'll put us at perfectly 40 magical power, and also that'll put us at 28.8% magical power bonus. I typically like to get at least a 30% magical power bonus with book out, but that's not the end of the world. We have a lot of true magic, and we have a lot of move speed, and we have a lot of knowledge, so we'll be casting spells fast and getting them out quickly, so it's not a big deal. Alright, last but not least, I usually just pick up a purple morning star. Bonus points if it has fist power, since we're not building any strength. We're like minus 10% physical power when we swing it, but it's mainly just used for killing PvE. We'll rarely kill any players with this. Here's a 41, which is a higher base value with 2 fist power for 190. I will take that, sure. And then buckler. Usually just get a buckler because they're faster than having a heater out. And I'll usually just get a rare one because they're pretty cheap. And again, it doesn't have to be anything too crazy. If it has physical damage bonus, that's awesome. But honestly, it really doesn't matter. You can pick one up for 50 gold. It's not a big deal. Like here's one, 18 physical damage bonus, 45 gold, sure. We'll just take that and put that on. It's just going to help us clear PvE, hopefully a little bit faster. Maybe take one less hit on some of the mobs. So after all, we're sitting with that. It's 37 will, 38 knowledge, 325 move speed, almost 40 magic res, almost 30 magical power bonus with our book out. Again, I wish this was a little bit higher, but unfortunately, due to some of the shortcomings and the cheapness of the gear, you can't have everything. You can spend a bit more gold, ideally to get these above 40 will and 40 knowledge. Keep this at 325 and keep this, above 30% magical power bonus while retaining your +5 true magical. But it's up to you what you want to spend. You can always spend a little bit more and get a little bit more stats, or you can just spend about this much and get a little bit less stats. It's totally up to you. But I find even this stuff like this that's a little bit short in certain areas is definitely more than enough to get the job done. Alright everybody, thank you so much for watching. Appreciate you all. If you took the time to watch this video in its entirety, I hope you enjoyed the build, the PvP highlights, and the video in general. So yeah, take it easy. Hope you guys are enjoying the wipe and the new gear rolls as much as I am. I find that the new gear rolls on top of the Clarity Pods introduction back and making them more easier to get definitely makes this build pretty relevant in solos, even with the gutting of magical power bonus that they did at the end of the last wipe. It still feels pretty damn good to play. Has its good matchups, has its bad matchups, but for the price point and for how fun it is to play, you really can't go wrong. So yeah, take it easy guys, have a good one. And like and subscribe if you've not already, and I'll see you in the next video. So yeah, see ya.